Hey guys, thanks for coming back. Otto says thanks. Well, there it is. There's the drive that fell on my foot. And we got the 3-phase sitting down there. Gonna have to get me one of those female receptacles for this here. It looks like a Loctite, or, well, here's the speed indicator for the speed. She looks kind of crusty there. I think we're going to have to stick her in a gallon of this stuff here. And I got a gallon of this stuff here. So between the two, I think we can get her pretty much clean. Yeah, that cone pulley is going to be a lot of work there. But I'm sure this will clean up really nice. So will the handles. Yeah, it's got a little bit of gook in there. Yeah, I got a little bit of petrified oil. Oh, now where'd my spray bottle go? Okay. Well, I got some of my Purple Power in here, and I've got this in, well, it's not in a Purple Power container, but it's got this cool aerator on here that makes it come out like foam. And it covers a whole lot better than anything I could think of. Nice little spray bottle. We'll go ahead and spray the whole drill press down. And it's kind of like getting a foam bath here with Purple Power. Well, I've sprayed Otto down here probably about 15 times. A lot of the light gray paint has come off to reveal a really dark machinery gray underneath it. We're going to take this dial right here for the speed control on the auto feed. There we go. I think I got it. We're going to dip that in some evaporust tonight, and in one tank I'm going to have evaporust, the other tank I'm going to have vinegar, and we're going to let them both sit overnight, and we're going to see which one does what kind of job. Of course, we all know what the evaporust does, but let's see what the vinegar does. I saw this done on another station, or another channel. Little bit of the light gray paint left on the auto feed box there, and there's that cone pulley with that light coat of rust on it. And on the upper arm there for the Camelback, you can see it's the dark machinery gray. So I think this was the original color of the press. Well, here's my progress on Otto. It's been totally degreased, and my wife thought it'd be funny to put this up on there. I guess she got something in the mail. Hoots from Otto. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you where we were at. I think it's going to clean up really nice. You might think this is overkill, but for me, no. I don't need any chips out of here. See, it's already got a chip here and a chip here, and I don't want any more, even though I don't plan on using the top part of the pulley, because that's the fastest part. I want to keep it on the slowest. That's the slowest. This here is the second half of the motor mounting assembly. And when the guy started it for me over there at the Night Foundry, I noticed it had a rumble in it. You know, but everything seems kind of nice and smooth until you do this. This end here, there we go, now we're in focus. This end here is dry. After I spun it up, I just kind of started listening to it. And it's coming from here. You can actually hear bearings clicking inside here, so I know it's really dry. I just hope it's not really scored. Anyway, this must be plugged. So if the Zert fitting's plugged, nothing's going to get in there anyway. I've got the screws loosened on the caps, and I got the screws loosened here too, the Allen set screws. We're going to take this off. I'll probably use a puller because it won't come off any more than this. And I'm going to take this off, and I'll take the cap off, and I'll bring you back when I'm pulling the cap off. But I did pop the cap off of this end. Oh, I just now noticed somebody has that Zert fitting screwed in there, cross-threaded. Anyway, I took the cover off the top there, and that one has all new grease in it. So I think that somebody thought grease was actually going in here. But here's the other assembly here. I've got the Allen loosened for the handle. This is what tilts the whole motor assembly back and forth and lets the pulley either get slack or get taut when you want to engage it. But this piece here is frozen solid. So we're going to have to fix that. And also I've been scraping the main platform here. It's coming a little bit cleaner, but this is what Otto looks like right now. There we go. Now that clamp just fell right off of there. But you know, that's normal for me as everything falls on the floor. Holy cow. Now, I thought we had that off of there the first time, but just the clamps came off and it was too tight to pull off with my fingers, so we'll just move it out. Yeah, there's a little rust inside there. There we go. On the shaft, the key's still stuck in there a little bit. There we go. So, got the spline off there. Well, what you say we see what the bearings look like? Okay. You know what I was thinking was maybe I have to loosen these. Oh, that wasn't bad. Maybe these clamp down on a flange on the inside of this is what I might have been thinking. Oh, there we go. before I pop it off of there, let me get you more in line so you can see. Yeah, did have a flange on the inside. Well, I think this grease is a little dried out. Nothing's been making contact with that in a long time. You know, you gotta like doing this. Anybody can go out and get an old machine, but you gotta like doing this. Wow, that does look dry, guys. It's got two sets of rollers in here. Yeah, you can really hear it now. So, I guess I'm going to have to take the other side off so we can get this shaft out of here and get these bearings off of here. Let's take the other side apart. This was the bottom side of the cone pulley right here, motor side. The other side's the very top. Okay. I've already had the screws broke loose. This one looks like it'll come off without loosening that at first. And I see that's got some decent grease inside there. That's how the other side should have looked. But I bet you, like I said, that zert fitting in there, that zert fitting must have been plugged. Sometimes you got to give it a little bit of a whack. I know I'm not supposed to be filming this, but I mean filming. Gosh, you can tell my age. Filming this wrong. Whoa! Wow, I'm glad it hit the board I had there and nothing happened to it. Yeah, see, this one here is getting all the grease. This one here is just riding. Oh my. You see that? This one's drier than heck. I mean, well, we just might be getting ourselves a whole set of bearings for this thing. And we'll see what we can get some bearing numbers off of here. I'll be right back with you. Doggone thing off of here. Well, okay, it's got pins in here that hold the... I noticed in here it looks like there's set screws. Yeah, there are. There's set screws in here. So apparently you put the bearings in and you tighten that set screw so the bearing doesn't spin. But there's only one set screw but two sets of bearings. So I don't know what was with that unless it originally had... There you go, now you can see it. There's one of the set screws there. So we'll clean this thing all up. You won't notice it when you see it next time. I'll just have to pull one of these off. Oh, these are ball bearings. We're just going to have to pull one of these off and get some ID and OD dimensions and a little width there and see what I can come up with for bearings. Yeah, I knew there was a little noise in there, but you guys have got to see this here. There. I knew there was a little bit of noise in there, but I think that's just a little bit loose. This one's nice and tight, but this one isn't. Anyway, oh yeah, look at it. It's just all over the place. It's like taking apart that Jag rear on the back end of my Model A. Yeah, it just slides right off it. Take it apart and the bearings fall out of the carrier. That posi carrier in it. Yeah, that was a fun day. That was the day I realized how much an independent rear end for a Jaguar costs for a complete refurbish. There, let's get you up here where these bearings are. Yeah, it does look like it's a little bit loose. Really? That's not even on the shaft, so... Well, you know why it's not on the shaft? Oh, that's not a bearing. Ah, silly me. Okay, I learned something new today. So, this thing has a single set of roller bearings on either end with a very large spacer and where'd it go? And an indent, just get that grease off of there, indent in the spacer that matches up with the set screw in the fixture that you're going to mount this in. So I guess this just was kind of like a, I don't know if it's bronze, I can't tell really until I get it cleaned. It seems like it's cast, but we'll be able to tell shortly. That's why it fit over. Oh, it's also, yeah, it's larger in diameter than this here. The bearing can only go down to this step right here. So that's good to know. I'll bring you back when I get to another step. Well, before we put Otto to bed tonight, I think what we ought to do is kind of like a little challenge here. We're going to do an evaporust versus vinegar. Of course, I don't know if you guys watched me, but you should probably know who I'm going to root for. Well, I'll probably be using it all anyway. There, get that flap out of there. And about halfway. How's that? In the evaporust, we're going to put this guy here. Let's see if I can get it in frame. This is the dial for the down feed speed control. We're going to put this in the evaporust. And we're going to close the lid. And that's all we're going to put in there. We're not going to do a whole bunch of stuff. And in the other one, we're going to put a few things. A couple screws. A couple nuts. This is what holds the head in place on the sliding head. It pinches it on the dovetail. This is rusty and I don't want to wrench on this, so I'll put it in here and see if it helps me be able to loosen this. So I've got the other nut in here now and a couple screws. So that's all submerged. And we'll go ahead, pardon me, and put this to bed, and we'll check it in the morning. Okay, here we go. It's early in the morning. I took and stood this one up right here so the whole dial is in the solution. First, let's look at the vinegar. Well, some of the stuff came off, but not much. So I'd say vinegar is a bust. I don't know how long these guys have to let their stuff soak in vinegar, but well, let's get it over here where you can see it, and I'll wipe it off. This was totally full of rust, just like the back side still. There. Anyway, that's where we're at on this piece here. Let's see if I can get it a little bit better in focus. Oh, let's try that there. Well, I think that was a success. I'm going to take this over on the buffer. I'm not going to do the knurling because actually I think that turned out really good. I was worried about that. I was really worried about that knurling there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just clean the rest of this up by hand, put it on the wire wheel and get the shaft here. But I think that's a success, and we're going to polish it up, and I'll show it to you after it's polished. Hey guys. Yeah, this shaft is frozen in here. What this is, this piece here goes into the camelback, into the upright portion of the drill press. There's a boss up there that's drilled and this inserts into it, and this is where the motor mounts. Anyway, the pulley, cone pulley sits up there in the front, and it pivots right here. And this is the eccentric wheel, and what this does is put some slack in the belt so you can change the speeds on the pulley. So what I'm trying to do is just kind of work at it and free it up. All I have is a doggone propane torch, and don't have an acetylene torch to heat it up with, so it's going to take me a while. And you know, I'll bring you back if I have any groundbreaking discoveries here. Like if this thing just busts loose for some reason. This is just super tight. I see some oil oozing out of there, so I know it's getting warm. Oh yeah. Anyway, enough of my rambling. This is a little punch that I made. Out of some 303 stainless. I want to say that I see it flexing a little bit, but it just might be in my imagination there. I'll sit here and heat it for a while longer. I find it hard to believe there were not any lubrication going